The prohibition of owning chametz. In the previous lesson, we discussed that there are 4 Torah commands that relate to chametz and 1 rabbinical command for a total of 5 commands. There are 3 commands relating to not owning chametz during Pesach. There's a positive command of tashbisu, which is a command to every Jew to destroy his chametz. There are 2 negative commands, one of Bal Yirah and one of Bal Yimatzeh, against owning chametz during Pesach. There is a prohibition of eating chametz and a prohibition of benefiting from chametz during Pesach. And there's a rabbinical command, an obligation to search for chametz and remove it from one's property. In today's lesson, we will discuss the issur of owning chametz and its details. Interestingly, the Torah forbade a Jew to own chametz when it is within his possession or within an area that he received permission for it to be placed. Meaning the biblical prohibition of owning chametz applies when I have chametz in my home, when I have chametz in my garage, in my storage room, or even in an area in my friend's house that I borrowed, that I asked him permission to place there for me. However, if I were to take chametz that I own and place it in an area that I don't have ownership, and I didn't ask permission to place it there, such as in someone else's backyard without his permission, biblically I would not transgress. So biblically, the owning prohibition applies when the chametz that you own is within a possession that you own or that you have permission for it to be there. Nevertheless, midrabanan, rabbinically, all chametz that one owns must be destroyed, even if it is within public property, and furthermore, even if one actually already disowned it, but he plans on taking it back after Pesach, the Alter Rebbe prohibits this to be done. One must relinquish all ownership and place it in an area that he doesn't own. For this reason as well, it doesn't suffice to simply disown the chametz, and one must also place it in an area that's public for all. And because of this, there's a great discussion amongst poskim with regards to the garbages that are found within buildings, that since it's not a public for all area, so the chametz that's placed in those garbages Erev Pesach and will remain there into Pesach have a problem with regards to that they have not been placed in a public for all area, and therefore care should be taken in this regard. Another interesting fact that the Torah biblically prohibits regarding owning chametz is that not only does the physical, or you would call the title ownership of the chametz, grant a Torah prohibition, but even simple insurance or liability over chametz. Meaning, if someone else owns chametz and I insure the chametz that if anything happens to it, I will pay for my money, hence called insurance, liability, then it is biblically considered as if I own this chametz, and it is forbidden for me to own this liability over Pesach, and I must relinquish it before Pesach begins, the same way I am forbidden from owning my own chametz. Regarding storing chametz in your possession, but that you don't own. So this the Torah doesn't prohibit. The Torah only prohibits you having in your possession chametz that you own. Nevertheless, midrabanan, the chachamim forbade having chametz that you don't own in your possession unless the chametz belongs to a Gentile, in which case, if you place a mechitza in front of the chametz before Pesach, it is permitted. We're going to review the verses that all this is derived from. From the verse, Lo yirah b'gvulcha, in your possession, we learn that chametz, no matter where it is in your possession, is forbidden min HaTorah, forbidden biblically to be owned. Thus, even if it's not in your house, but in a different area that you rented or borrowed, it's biblically forbidden. From the words Lo yirah lecha, to you, we learn that you're only forbidden biblically in having chametz that you personally own. But chametz that you don't own is not biblically forbidden from staying in your possession. From the words Lo Yimatzeh, we learn that not only chametz that you can see is forbidden, but even chametz that you've hidden away is biblically forbidden if you own it and it is within your possession or area that you had permission to store it in. Now we will discuss the difference between the 2 negative commands and the positive command. The negative commands of Bal Yirah, Bal Yimatzeh against owning chametz, that is a prohibition not to own chametz, only begins on the night of Pesach. Someone who owns chametz from after midday of Pesach until the night does not transgress this prohibition. The prohibition takes effect starting the night of Pesach till the end of Pesach. That is the negative command of Bal Yirah and Bal Yamatzai. Aside from that, there's a different command. All the negative command says is, please don't own chametz when this time arrives. How you disown it doesn't matter. Just don't own it. Don't own chametz that's in your possession when this time arrives. There's a second mitzvah, which is a positive command called tashbisu, which is not don't own chametz, but please destroy the chametz. The practical difference between these two commands is that to fulfill the negative command, all you have to do is simply take your chametz before Pesach and put it in a public domain and disown it. However, this is not fulfilling the positive command of destruction. The mitzvah of tashbisu takes effect from midday, and that's why it's forbidden to own chametz starting from midday, and the sages added a further hour to this. So starting from the 5th hour of the day, it's forbidden to own chametz due to the obligation of destruction. As starting from the 5th hour, one must destroy any chametz that he owns. And this obligation can only be fulfilled through actually destroying it, and that is the root and source behind our custom of burning chametz on Erev Pesach, as when we burn this chametz, it is considered retroactively when that the 6th hour arrived, that we have now fulfilled the biblical command of tashbisu. There are poskim that learn that even through simply relinquishing ownership you fulfill tashbisu. However, this is not the opinion and approach of the Alter Rebbe, and in his approach you must actually destroy it physically in order to fulfill this mitzvah of tashbisu, although one who did not destroy but disowned it would not transgress any negative command, but he would not have fulfilled this positive command.